Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., in a 1968 speech where he reflects upon the civil rights movement, states, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." As a teacher, I've internalized this message.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. dalam pidato tahun 1968 menekankan bahwa pesan yang akan disampaikan berkaitan dengan perjuangan keadilan dan hak asasi manusia. Yang paling menyakitkan adalah ketika orang yang dekat dengan kita tapi tidak membela atau peduli dengan kita. Pesan tersebut sudah menjadi prinsip hidupnya sebagai seorang guru.
Every day all around us, we see the consequences of silence manifest themselves in the form of discrimination, violence, genocide, and war.
Setiap hari, kita sebenarnya bisa melihat dampak dari sikap diam di sekitar kita. Diam dapat berujung pada hal-hal besar dan berbahaya seperti diskriminasi, kekerasan, bahkan perang.
In the classroom, I challenge my students to explore the silences in their own lives through poetry.
Di kelas, guru juga mengajak siswa untuk memahami hal-hal yang mereka pendam melalui puisi.
We work together to fill those spaces, to recognize them, to name them, to understand that they don't have to be sources of shame.
Guru dan siswa bersama-sama mencoba menyadari dan mengungkapkan hal-hal yang selama ini didiamkan. Hal-hal yang dipendam tidak harus menjadi sesuatu yang memalukan.
In an effort to create a culture within my classroom where students feel safe sharing the intimacies of their own silences, I have 4 core principles posted on the board that sits in the front of my class, which every student signs at the beginning of the year.
Guru ingin menciptakan lingkungan kelas yang aman agar siswa berani berbicara. Guru menetapkan aturan atau prinsip sebagai pedoman di kelas. Semua siswa harus menyetujui prinsip tersebut sebagai komitmen bersama.
Read critically, write consciously, speak clearly, tell your truth.
Nah, 4 nilai utama tersebut yaitu berpikir kritis, menulis dengan sadar, berbicara dengan jelas dan jujur.
I find myself thinking a lot about that last point. Tell your truth. And I realized that if I was going to ask my students to speak up, I was going to have to tell my truth and be honest with them about the times where I failed to do so. So I tell them that growing up, as a kid in a Catholic family in New Orleans,
guru harus memberikan contoh jika ingin siswa berani berbicara. Guru juga harus melakukan hal yang sama. Ia harus jujur tentang pengalamannya sendiri dan ia juga mulai menceritakan latar belakang kehidupannya sendiri.
During Lent, I was always taught that the most meaningful thing one could do was to give something up. Sacrifice something you typically indulge in to prove to God you understand His sanctity. I've given up soda, McDonald's, French fries, French kisses, and everything in between.
Dalam tradisi agama, seseorang diajarkan untuk berkorban sebagai bentuk keimanan. Pengorbanan dilakukan untuk menunjukkan kesungguhan kepada Tuhan. Guru pernah mengorbankan hal-hal kecil dalam hidupnya.
But one year, I gave up speaking. Figured the most valuable thing I could sacrifice was my own voice, but it was like I hadn't realized that I had given that up a long time ago. I had spent so much of my life telling people the things they wanted to hear instead of the things they needed to. Told myself I wasn't meant to be anyone's conscience because I still had to figure out being my own, so sometimes I just wouldn't say anything, appeasing ignorance with my silence.
Namun, guru pernah memilih diam sebagai bentuk pengorbanan. Guru menganggap suara adalah hal paling berharga. Guru sadar bahwa sebenarnya sudah lama kehilangan keberanian untuk berbicara. Guru lebih sering menyenangkan orang lain daripada berkata jujur. Guru merasa belum mampu menjadi suara keberanian bagi orang lain. Guru memilih diam, bahkan saat tahu ia salah.
Unaware that validation doesn't need words to endorse its existence. When Christian was beat up for being gay, I put my hands in my pocket and walked with my head down as if I didn't even notice. Couldn't use my locker for weeks because the bolt on the lock reminded me of the one I had put on my lips when the homeless man on the corner looked at me with eyes up, merely searching for an affirmation that he was worth seeing. I was more concerned with touching the screen of my Apple than actually feeding him one. When the woman at the fundraising gala said, "I'm so proud of you. It must be so hard teaching those poor, unintelligent kids." I bit my lip because apparently we needed her money more than my students needed their dignity. We spend so
Guru
much
mengabaikan
time
orang yang membutuhkan bantuan.
listening to the
Guru
things
diam
people are
pada
saying
saat muridnya
that we rarely pay
diamkan.
attention to the things they don't. Silence is the residue of fear. It is feeling your flaws gut-wrench guillotine your tongue. It is the air retreating from your chest because it doesn't feel safe in your lungs. Silence is Rwandan genocide. Silence is Katrina. It is what you hear when there aren't enough body bags left. It is the sound after the noose is already tied. It is charring. It is chains. It is privilege. It is pain. There is no time to pick your battles when your battles have already picked you. I will not let silence wrap itself around my indecision. I will tell Christian that he is a lion, a sanctuary of bravery and brilliance. I will ask that homeless man what his name is and how his day was, because sometimes all people want to be is human. I will tell that woman that my students can talk about transcendentalism like their last name was Thoreau, and just because you watch one episode of The Wire doesn't mean you know anything about my kids. So this year, instead of giving something up, I will live every day as if there were a microphone tucked under my tongue, a stage on the underside of my inhibition.
Ini
Because who has
menggambarkan
to have a
kondisi
soapbox
tragis akibat peristiwa
when all
besar
you
yang
ever needed
dibiarkan terjadi.
is your
Diam
voice?
terjadi ketika sudah terlambat untuk mencegah sesuatu yang buruk. Diam berkaitan dengan penderitaan, penindasan, dan ketidakadilan sosial. Kita tidak bisa menghindari masalah-masalah, harus berani menghadapinya. Guru memutuskan untuk tidak lagi diam karena takut. Guru akan mulai memberi dukungan kepada orang lain. Guru ingin menunjukkan empati dan kepedulian. Guru membela murid-muridnya dari pandangan merendahkan. Guru menolak stereotip terhadap muridnya. Guru bertekad untuk selalu berani berbicara. Guru ingin menjadikan rasa takut sebagai kekuatan. Setiap orang bisa berbicara tanpa harus punya posisi khusus. Thank you.